All right, gather round, folks, and make sure your lights are on, because Uncle Three's got a tale for you today. One that'll keep your eyes wide open. This is a story about an animal in Vietnam that lived long enough to become a vengeful spirit. This particular story was recounted to Uncle Three by a friend in Vietnam, who heard it straight from her own grandmother. It happened way back around 1962, when her grandma was still quite young. Back then, their village, nestled in the Tram Chim Dong Thap region, was pretty sparse, and life was tough. People struggled a lot and houses were few and far between. Not like the bustling towns we see today. A woman named Anna lived in that village. Of course, the character's name in the story, Uncle Three, has been completely changed. She made a living raising pigs to sell. Her family, consisting of herself, her husband, 3 daughters, and 3 sons, 8 people in total, lived in a rather small house. Behind it there was a pigsty made of leaves where they kept a few pigs for sale. They had to wake up super early, around 2 or 3 a.m., to slaughter the pigs and take the meat to the market. Now, market back then wasn't like the big, covered markets we have now. It was just a spontaneous gathering of people selling goods in the early morning. Anna and her husband had been in the pig business for years without any major incidents. But one morning, while selling meat at the market, Anna met an old woman, probably in her late 50s or early 60s. This woman asked Anna to sell her a pair of piglets and 2 breeding sows the next day, saying she wanted to raise them for breeding, just like Anna did. Anna agreed right away, as she sold both meat and live piglets. That very afternoon, Anna hurried home from the market. She planned to pen the pigs for the woman to pick up the next day. It was lucky timing, because one of her sows had just given birth to 4 piglets. So Anna went to get a metal cage, ready to put the 4 piglets and the 2 bigger pigs inside. But then something went horribly wrong. As Anna stepped into the pigsty to catch the piglets, she accidentally stepped on one of the newborn pigs. It was so fresh, still red and tiny, lying there. She stepped on it so hard that its intestines spilled out, and it died instantly. What happened next was completely unexpected. The mother sow, which had just given birth and was lying there, suddenly sprang up as if possessed. It stood up with surprising strength, like a buffalo. It charged at Anna, ramming into her with incredible force. Anna fell hard right there, in the pigsty. The pigsty wasn't built with concrete or sturdy bricks like today. It was just a fence made of strong wooden poles. When the sow rammed her, Anna was sent flying out through the fence. As she fell, her leg got snagged on a sharp pole, causing a deep, severe wound. Blood poured out profusely. Despite her leg gushing blood, Anna dragged herself back into the house. She cleaned and bandaged her wound. But Anna wasn't the type to just take it. As her grandma said, she was a shrewd market vendor, clever and unafraid. She went into the house, grabbed a pig slaughtering knife, and returned to the pigsty. She then grabbed one of the remaining piglets. Remember, one had died earlier, leaving 3. With the knife, she slashed the piglet's throat, killing it on the spot. It was just a young piglet, so weak it died easily. After killing it, Anna took the piglet and roasted it over her spit, just like she normally would. When it was done, the smell was delicious. She put the roasted pig on a plate, brought it back to the pigsty, and sat down right in front of the mother sow, tearing off pieces and eating them. The meat was incredibly tender and sweet, like suckling pig. She ate it with relish, right there in the pigsty, directly in front of the sow's face. She was known for an eye, even with animals, and she was deliberately provoking the sow. After all, the sow had injured her leg, leaving it bloody. But then something strange happened. Just as Anna tore off a piece of the piglet's thigh, the sow, which had been standing and eating normally, suddenly collapsed and died. It fell with a thud as if it had been electrocuted. Anna herself was shocked and tried to shake it, but it was truly dead. It was as if the sow had seen its child being eaten and decided to die by suicide. Anna, however, was pleased. With the sow dead, a thorn was removed from her side. So she called her husband and children to come and butcher the sow to sell its meat at the market as usual. For about 3 or 4 months after that, everything settled down. But Anna later told her friend's grandmother that whenever she went into the pigsty to feed the animals, she would sometimes feel as if someone was scaring or teasing her. She knew it was a ghost, but she couldn't see its form. It was just a feeling of being startled or messed with, never a full appearance. Then, about 3 or 4 days later, Anna saw a young girl standing outside her house. She was small, only about 11 or 12 years old, and her clothes were ragged. Her face was covered in soot, and Anna felt pity for her. She invited the girl inside, and the girl immediately begged for food and water, seeming starved. Anna was kind-hearted. She gave the girl food and snacks, and even some of her own daughter's clothes, as her family had many children. After the girl had eaten and changed, Anna asked her why she was wandering alone. The girl explained that she wasn't begging. Her family had been fleeing from war, and she had gotten separated from her parents. At this time, Vietnam still has a very fierce war. She had seen Anna's house, and being hungry, came to ask for food. She then asked if she could stay for a few days, as she had nowhere else to go. Anna, being compassionate, told her to stay and that she would treat her like an adopted daughter. So from that day on, the 12-year-old girl lived with Anna's family. And this is where things truly began. The grandmother said that because the house was so crowded, Anna and her husband slept with their youngest daughter. The other children slept together in a single room, packed in like sardines. Anna's eldest daughter shared a bed with the newly adopted 12-year-old girl. 3 days passed, and the adopted girl seemed normal and quiet, showing no strange signs. But on the 3rd night, Anna and her husband woke up early to prepare pigs for the market as usual. They didn't wake their children, letting them sleep. As they were setting up their stall at the market around 5:30 a.m., still in the dim morning light, they saw their children running towards them from a distance. Their 2 older sons and eldest daughter were leading their younger siblings, all of them crying and covered in sweat. "Mom, Mom, the devil ate Mary," they screamed. Mary was Anna's youngest daughter, and she slept with her parents. At first, Anna didn't believe them. "What are you talking about? Why aren't you sleeping? Are you scared of ghosts?" she asked. But the children insisted. "No, Mom. Come home. The devil ate Mary. There's blood everywhere. We're scared, so we brought the others to find you." Anna still didn't believe them, but they dragged her back home. The walk from the market to the house was about 15 to 20 minutes. When they arrived, the house was wide open. Anna was going to go straight to the bedroom to comfort Mary, thinking she was just crying from a lack of parental presence. But what she saw when she entered was a truly horrifying sight. Her mosquito net, which had been set up the night before, was splattered with blood. The white net was now entirely red. She lifted the net and saw her youngest daughter. Her stomach had been slashed open, her intestines and organs spilling out onto the mat. There was blood everywhere. Anna was in shock. Looking closer, she saw that the child's limbs were twisted and broken. Her joints bent backward, and her neck was snapped. Overcome with fear, Anna and her husband could only crawl to the door, screaming for their neighbors. Though houses were far apart, their cries were so loud that even heard them from her own house, louder than any loudspeaker. It was early morning, and people quickly gathered. Anna cried out, "Oh, God, the devil ate my child. Is there any way to stop it?" The grandmother described the scene as a horrifying spectacle, with people grimacing, having never seen anything so terrible. Even during wartime and the chaos, Anna and her husband completely forgot about the 12-year-old adopted girl. She was nowhere to be seen. Among the crowd was a man named Mr. Ben, who was a local spiritual master. He came to assess the situation. He found the body so gruesome that he almost vomited, and some people were so scared they fainted. Mr. Ben wanted to help, but had no clues as to where this devil came from. He suggested they proceed with the funeral for now. So people gathered, cleaned the child's body, and began the funeral. That night, many neighbors came for the funeral, about 20 or 30 people, which was a large crowd for that time. The funeral night was somber and quiet, unlike today's bustling funerals. There was no electricity, only dim, flickering oil lamps. Inside the house, someone was chanting prayers, a rhythmic tapping sound. Suddenly, everyone simultaneously heard a noise coming from the straw roof of the house. It sounded like someone was walking up there, the roof rustling and creaking. At first, they thought it was just a chicken or some animal, but the noise grew louder and more aggressive, and then they heard cackling laughter coming from the roof. Everyone rushed out into the yard and looked up at the roof. To their horror, they saw none other than the 11 or 12-year-old girl Anna had taken in. It was only then that Anna remembered her, having been consumed by grief over her daughter's death. Anna asked, "Hey, why are you up there? Where have you been all morning?" But the girl's face was no longer her own. It had transformed. Her eyes were now just black voids, the whites completely gone. Her mouth, when she looked down at Anna and smiled, stretched unnaturally wide, splitting almost to her ears. Then she began to curse, her voice not that of a normal 11 or 12-year-old.
"You vile mother, you killed my daughter. You killed 2 of my children. Now I've eaten your child, so what are you crying about?"
She shrieked. The girl's language was even more vulgar than what she could recount. Everyone was terrified and fled back to their homes. Only Mr. Ben remained, standing and watching, knowing that this girl was no longer human. She was possessed by a demon. As Anna fainted, Mr. Ben looked up at the girl on the roof and asked, "Hey, what demon are you? Why are you here to torment this family? What did they do to offend you? Tell me." But the girl just stood there, arms akimbo, cackling incessantly for several minutes. Then she suddenly jumped down to the ground, disappearing into the backyard. People searched the garden for a long time, looking for her, wondering if she was possessed and if they could help her, but they found no trace. When they returned to the house, Anna suddenly sat up. Everyone thought she had woken up, but she wasn't normal. She just sat there, laughing to herself. Mr. Ben, understanding what was happening, asked, "All right, speak now. What is this? What problem has possessed this person?" Then Anna, speaking in a strange voice, revealed the truth.
This female demon, oh God. I had only just given birth a few days ago, and she killed 2 of my children. Do you see how evil she is? I have been in her house for 3 days now, and I will not be satisfied until I have eaten all of her children.
Upon hearing this, Mr. Ben understood the whole situation. The pig that Anna had killed its piglets was now exacting its revenge. The grandmother didn't know what happened that night because she was too scared and went home. A few days later, she heard that Anna and her husband had burned down their house and left the village forever. Because of this, the grandmother never knew if the pig spirit continued its revenge after the family moved, or if their remaining children lived peacefully to adulthood. She could only hope that the family found peace after all those years. After losing a child in such a horrific way, it was as if Anna had paid her karmic debt. And that, my friends, is where our story ends for today.